Hello everyone, myself Dr. Sagar Dhage. Today we are discussing patent drafting and its filing procedure. So my presentation is divided into the two parts. First one is about patent drafting, and the second part is about its procedure to filing the patent application. So before moving toward the patent drafting, it is important to know what is by intellectual property, because patent is a part of intellectual property. So what is by property? So property is anything that which we can sell, which we can use, and by doing so we can earn some profit or some money. So property can be of two types. One is a tangible property and another one is an intangible property. Tangible property means the property which we can see, which we can see, which we can feel, which we can touch. And intangible property, the property that is invisible, that we cannot see, that we cannot feel it. Example, let's say I am having a car, I am having a building. So I can see it, I can touch it, I can feel it. So that is a physical property. That property is called as a tangible property. Now suppose I am having an idea, and by using that idea, if I can earn the money, then that can be also become a property, right? Now this idea I cannot see it and nobody can touch it, right? And this idea is come from my human intellectual level. So that is also another form of property. So intellectual property is a category of property that includes intangible creation of human intellect, and it is the result of creative effort from human intellect. Now if we buy any house, if we buy any car, we make a registry of it, right? Suppose if you buy a house, then you go to the registrar office of the government of India and you register your property in your name. Why we are doing registry? We are doing the registry because it gives ownership right to individual, right? And then nobody can use your property, right? So similarly, intellectual property has also to be registered. So that registration happen with government agency, right? So that's why intellectual property also can be registered and you can enjoy ownership right. Similarly, the right you can enjoy with some tangible property. So there are various type of intellectual property. First one is a trademark, patent, copyright, industrial design, and so many. So our presentation is a focus on the patents. So what is by patents? So patent is a statutory right for an investigation granted for a limited period of time to the patentee by government. So you can get a statutory right for the invention, and that has to be granted. And this invention granted, it has some limited time period. And who is granting this invention? This invention is granted by Government of India. Now for that purpose, what you have to do, in exchange of full disclosure of his invention, so you have to disclose your invention to the Government of India. Only after it can be granted for limited of period of time. And what it exclude others? It exclude others from making, using and selling your product. So suppose if you have idea and you want the rights on your idea, then you have to file a patent to the government. You have to apply to the government. Then the government scrutinize it and it will grant the patent. And then you can enjoy your statutory right for a limited period of time. Okay, and what it prohibited from others? It prohibited from others from making, using, and selling any product, apparatus, or instrument using your patent or using your idea. Suppose somebody wants to produce something from your patent, then he has to take consent from you, right? So you can ask him to pay some royalty charges, and then you can also earn some profit. So that is the advantage of filing patent application. Now, what is criteria of patentability? So first criteria is it should be a novel. What is by novel? Novel means it is something unique. You are the only one person in the world who knows this idea. So that is called as a novelty. Then second step, it should have an inventive step, or it must be non-obvious. Some inventive step should be there. So that is a second idea, second criteria. The third criteria is it should be capable of industrial applications. Means anybody can produce your product using the idea, and it can go for mass production. So that is the criteria of patentability. Now we know that what is by novel. Novel means is something unique. You are only one in the world who know this idea. The second step, the second criteria is inventive step. So inventive step involves technical advantage as compared to the existing knowledge, or it should have also economic significance and both. So inventive step means if there is some technical advancement in your invention and it is having economic advance significance also, then it is called as an inventive step. So the third thing is also important, that make the invention not obvious to persons skilled in the art. So your invention or your idea, something should not be depends upon your skill set. For example, drawing, because drawing is a skill set and it is vary from person to the person. So such idea creating from your skill set, it cannot be patentable. Another example is a pottery. Okay? So making a pot by using skills of the pottery is not patentable because it varies from person to the person. And the third criteria is it should have an industrial application. Means invention is capable of being made or used in any kind of industry. So that is the third criteria. So your invention should be capable of industrial application. By using your idea, suppose if your patent is about the product, then by writing your patent, anybody can go for mass production, right? So that is the criteria of patentability. Now what can be patentable? A product. So the patent, you can file a patent for a product, so that is also patentable. Now suppose if you want to make some instrument which produce a product, so that instrument, equipment or apparatus can be also patentable. Then the process of manufacturing anything can be also patentable. And fourth is the composition of matter. So if you invent any material is what? The composition of matter, then that can be also patentable. So these four things on which you can get a patent. So I'll give one example, a product. Suppose you invent a smartphone which is having technical advantage as compared with the existing smartphone, then smartphone can be patentable. Now suppose if you invent any instrument which can increase the productivity, then that instrument can be patentable. Now suppose you are manufacturing some product and you invented some process to manufacturing that product, and by using process you are enhancing the yield, you are reducing the manufacturing time, plus the cost of manufacturing also significantly reduced, then that process can also be a patentable. Fourth example, suppose you are manufacturing some medicine. That medicine is also called as a drugs. Now it consists of number of different compounds. Now if that drugs has certain advantage as compared with the other medicines that available in the market, and that composition is something different, then that can be also patentable. Now what is not patentable? So computer program, your codes, algorithm, that cannot be patentable. But if your computer program is coupled with some hardware, then that can be a patentable. Second, medical and surgical treatments, that cannot be patentable because that is useful for the human being. So therefore government of India not allow to patent medical and surgical treatments. Mathematical models, business method cannot be patentable. Discoveries. Discoveries means what? You found something that was existed in the nature. So that is a discovery. So that discovery is not an invention. Therefore, it is not patentable. Aesthetic creation cannot be patentable. Example, drawing. Why it is not patentable? Because it is depends upon the skill set of individual person. So therefore, it is not patentable. New species of plant and animal, that cannot be patentable. Why? Because that was existed in the nature. You are not a creator. That's why it is not patentable. Then the invention which is contrary to the moral standard and public order, that cannot be patentable. Example, weapon of mass destruction. So that is the against moral standard and public order. So that cannot be patentable. Then invention related to the atomic energy. So the atomic invention related to the atomic energy, that is regarded with some national interest. Right? Plus using the atomic energy you can also make weapon of mass destruction. For example, atomic bomb. So therefore it is again against contrary to the moral standard and public order. So therefore it is cannot be patentable. Now suppose if you have any idea and you thought that you can file a patent for that idea and you want to draft it. So before the drafting the patent, you have to do some preliminary search, that is called as a so that you have to conduct some search. Why you have to conduct search? The purpose of conducting the search on your idea, it tells you that whether invention is a novel or not. What is my novelty? Novelty is something that is unique in the world, that you are only the one person who knows the idea. That idea was not existed before. For that purpose you have to do some search. So you can use a Google, you can refer different textbook, you can refer some research paper, journal article. Through that you will come to know that whether this idea was existed or not. If it is existed, then there is a no novelty, and you cannot file the patent. Even if you file the patent, it will not grant. So therefore, conducting a search is also important part. Now suppose you are having idea, and by the conducting search you came across some idea which are similar to the your idea, but that is not 100% similar. Some part of the idea are similar to your idea. Then you can enlist this idea. So that existed knowledge which is similar to the your idea, not 100%, but some of the contents of that idea was similar, then that idea is called as a prior art. So that can be in the written form, verbal form, or whatever the form in the existed. Then you have to see whether any documented publication has been there or not. Sometimes it happens that, suppose if you are doing some, if you are a research scholar, if you are a PhD students, then unintentionally you are disclosing your invention through some journal papers, some through conference proceedings. If it is there, then it is already in the public domain. It is known to be at least few peoples. If it is there, then on the same idea you cannot file the patent, because your publication become a prior arts, right? So therefore, before the filing application, the care should be taken from your side that this invention, it should not be disclosed before the filing patent application. So these things you have to take care. So after the filing specification, you have to remember that first person who will read the patent application is from the patent office, and then your licensee assignee will also see your patent application. Your competitors will also see your patent applications. Commercial player plus general public will also read your patent application. So in the procedure, filing the procedure, after filing the application, after some period of time, the government will publish the patent application. So the purpose of publishing the patent application is that, suppose if the patent application filed by you was already known to the public, then it is expected that someone from the public will inform to the government office that this application was already known, or this idea was already there in the public domain. So that was the purpose. So this will be read by many people. So there are two kind of application that is also called as a specification. First one is a provisional, another one is a complete. So we will see what is by provisional application. Now suppose you are having idea and you think that idea is something unique, this is something novel, and you can earn the money of this idea and you want to file the patent application, but you think that still this idea is not 100% not done. Some few points has to be there and it is not complete idea, but you want to file a provision, but you want to secure your idea. For example, let's say you are doing some BTech engineering projects and you think that this idea is something unique, and you fear that if I share this idea with my project partner, after completing the BTech he can take disadvantage of my idea and he can start his own business. Now you don't want to provide any loopholes to your colleague. You don't want that your project partner should take undue advantage of your idea. So before telling him, what will do, whatever the idea, the rough idea, will write on the piece of paper, and that rough idea may be in a one page. You are filing as a patent, and you are telling the government agency that this is my provisional application, and please submit this my idea, and within a 12 month of time I will work on it and I will file the complete idea. So that application is called as a provisional application. Now suppose if you file the provisional application today, then within a 12 month of date of filing the provisional application, you have to submit the complete idea. So complete specification you have to submit. Now suppose your project partner got the idea after filing your provisional specification, and he want to use this idea for his commercial benefit. Now your idea is already been filed at the patent office. So provisional patent application you already filed. So you can restrict him to use your idea. Why? Because you filed the provisional application. So that is the motive behind to why we have to file a provisional applications. The second type is complete patent specification or complete patent application. So here if your idea is 100% sure, is 100% complete, then you can go for complete application. So there everything has to be there. There is no loophole in your patent application. So your patent specification is divided into the two parts. One is a description and second one is a claim. So description discusses the invention. So here each and everything you have to explain neatly into the discussion. For example, let's say I had done some invention on the pen. Okay, in the pen the specific invention is related to the tip, that I manufactured the tip so that pen can write smoothly on any type of surface. So let's say this is some hypothetical example. So this is my invention, that I invented a pen which is having a tip and which can help to write me on any surface in a very smooth manner. So that is my invention. So in the description I'll write everything, that my invention is related with the writing instrument, and it is having this kind of body, it is made of this material, it is having refill, it is having a tip, it is having a token. Everything you will describe in the invention. The second part is the claim. In the claim, what you describe? You describe the specific feature that distinguished your product. So in this case, that is a tip. So here in the claim, you are writing that I claim that my pen consists of a tip which helps me to write anything on any surface. So that is your invention. So that you have to write in the claim. So claim define the boundary of monopoly. In the claim you don't have to describe other features that you have not invented. You have to just mention the feature that you have invented in this particular invention. So in the complete specification, this point you have to write. So first one is a title. Second thing is description of invention. Here in the description of invention you have to write what is the field of invention, that this invention is related to the which field. Then background of invention. In the background you have to mention what are the problem are existed and what other inventor has work on these things. And in the object or summary of the invention, you have to mention that though uh, there are many problems and your invention objective is to solve this problem. And in the detailed description, you have to describe your product or process in the details. So there you can use figures, tables, graph, or whatever you want. And the last thing is a claim. So in the claim you have to define what features that you have invented in your product or in your process. So title should be very concise, it should be very precise, and it is providing the crux of the invention. For example, I had invented a ball for cricket. What is the advantage of this ball? That this ball is resist wear and tear. So I can use for any number of time, n number of time. So that is my invention. So your title should be very concise, precise, and it should provide the crux of the invention, and it also denotes that where this invention is related with the product, process, or apparatus. And here most important care you have to take that in the title you don't have to use the fancy word. Example, magic ball for cricket. So magic is a fancy word, you have to avoid using such kind of word. You can use a novel ball for cricket. Then you have to write the abstract. So abstract should be very concise and precise, and it should be within a word limit of 150 words. And it should give the overview of invention, that your invention is related to the what and what are the different characteristics of this invention, that you have to mention in the abstract. Sometimes it also happen that there is something written different in the abstract and your description and claims are somewhat different. Then controller can amend your abstract if it is required. Who is the controller? The controller is the person who verify your patent application, who will see whether your application can be granted or not. Then the next part is description. So you have to describe your idea, you have to describe your patent specification in such a way that it should reflect the novelty of your application. You have to explain why your invention is a novel. Then it should also describe the inventive steps, that what technical advancement has been done in your invention without using any words which leads to the ambiguity. For example, my product has significantly enhanced the efficiency. Now the significant, it doesn't quantify anything, so it is creating the ambiguity. So such wording you have to not use. Then it should fully explain the problem to be solved with example. So in the description you can give the background. In the background you can give the limitation what existed and how this limitation is overcome by your product or your idea. So that has to be described into the description. And also you have to describe its industrial applicability, that how it can be used for the different industries. So that has to be described in the patent specification. So this is the one of the example of description of invention. So in the description, first point you have to write is a field of invention. That invention is related to the which field. So here always starts writing the field of invention using this wording, the present invention related to the. So if you use this wording, it will automatically leading you to write the field of invention. For example, in this case, the present invention is related to the method of reducing friction in the machining and wear of cutting tool. So now anyone can easily understand that this patent application is related with the method, right? Method of reducing friction in the machining and wearing of cutting tool. So this is how you have to write the field of invention. So preferably you have to use this wording, and field of invention you have to write in a one sentence. The next you have to write the background of invention. In the background of invention you have to mention what are the problem that you are going to solve using this patent. So that is the background of invention. In the background of invention also you can write what are the prior art that is existed. Suppose in this case this patent is related with the method of reducing the friction in the machining and wear of cutting tool. So in the prior art you can find there are the different ways that can reduces the friction during the machining, but that problem has been partially solved, that you have to mention. So you have to mention that if the solution is, you have to mention that why solution is unable to solve the problem, and then at the end you have to say that though many researcher has investigated, this problem is still existed, this problem is a partially solved, and your invention is going to solve all the problems that are still existed. And then in the next paragraph, in the next part of description, you have to write objective of your invention. So here you are giving the idea to the controller exactly what is this patent is about, what is the objective of this invention. So you have to start using this word, the principal object of invention is, then you have to write your prime objective. If there is a secondary objective, then you have to use another wording in continuation with the first sentence. Another object of invention is this. If there is another subset of object, then you have to write further object of invention is. So that's how you have to write objective of invention or summary of invention. Now you have to write detailed description. In the detailed description you can use examples, illustration, table, graph and diagram, which is the convenient way to describe your innovation. That things you have to use in the detailed description. So what is the purpose of detailed description? See, there are three specific criteria for patentability: novelty and inventive step, and third one is industrial applicability. Industrial applicability means it can produce in the factory and it can be go for mass production. So by reading detailed description, the technical person can able to use or to manufacture the product that you applied for patent. So that is the main purpose of description. So description sufficient to enable a skilled person to put invention into the practice. So here you can use the figures. So generally in the figures you are giving the names to the parts, but in the patent specification you don't have to use the words in the figure. You don't have to describe that this is the base, this is the column. No, you have to denote the number, and in the description you have to mention that this is the base, and in front of that you have to give the number. So here if you see in the left side there is a figure, and the different parts of the figure denotes by the number, and in the right side of the description here he is mentioning the part name in the words, and then the next he is denoting the number. Example, let's say chip. So in the figure 2 number is showing the chip, and in the description he is writing the chip and he is writing the 2. So reader will able to understand that 2 means the number 2 means it is for the chip. So that's how you have to write the description. The last part of your patent application or specification is the claim. So important thing you have to remember that main property, it should not be merged into the other claim, and separate claim has to be formed for important feature. So if your invention consists of two important feature, then you have to write two claims. If there are three important features, then three claims you have to write. So for each claim there should be separate feature should be existed. And the third point, and that is important, that should be it is in a clear single sentence. So therefore it should be very concise, precise and accurately expressed in the legal term. The last point is the claim always start with I claim or we claim. Suppose inventor is the only one, then it should be start with I claim. If inventor is more than one, then it should be write with we claim. So the claim can be for the two types. It is depends upon the invention categories. It can be for the product and it can be for the method or process. There are two types of the claim. One is an independent claim, that is not dependent on any other claim, and dependent claim. So I'll give some examples so that you can understand very well. So this is the example of the claim, how the claim has been written by one of the inventor. So here in this case there are more than one inventor, therefore here he has written down we claim. Now there is the first claim, that cutting tool has one or more texture surface, and then he is describing the claims. So this is the first claim. Now see the second claim, cutting tool according to claim 1. Now this second claim is depends upon the claim number 1, but claim number 1 is not depend upon anything. So claim number 1 become a independent claim, and claim number 2, as it is depends upon the claim number 1, it become a dependent claim. Similarly claim number 3, it says a cutting tool according to claim 1. So claim number 3 is also dependent claim, and it is depends upon claim number 1. Now see, if I file the patent application with this claim, and let's assume that the claim number 3 is not acceptable, then I will have claim number 1 and claim number 2. Still I'll get the patent. But if claim 1 is rejected, then automatically claim number 2 and 3 will rejected. Why? Because claim 2 and 3 is dependent on claim number 1. So while writing down the independent claim, I had to be very specific, and I had to take a very proper precaution. So this is meant by independent claim and dependent claim. So ideal way of writing the claim is write down the features of the claims, and each features write down the different claim. Suppose there are 5 features on which you want a patent. So while during the examination, if the controller feels that out of the 5, 3 are not valid but 2 are valid, then on these 2 claims you can get the patent. But all the feature, if you are written in the only one claim, then your patent application will get rejected. Why? Because everything you combine in the one claim, and some part is not valid. There is a no novelty in some of the feature. So it is a better way to describe each features into the single claim. So there is a format for drafting the claims. So format number 1, suppose there are 3 claims or more than 3 claims, then you can use this format number 1. So claim number 1 is an independent claim. So first claim is always independent claim, and if there is another features, then you can put it into the claim number 2. If there is additional features, you can put it in the claim number 3. If there is another additional feature, then you can put it in the claim number 4. So here this is the one simple example. This is the hypothetical example that claim number 1, the car with vinyl roof. So this is independent claim. Now second claim, the car of claim 1 wherein roof is a black. So claim number 2 is depends upon the claim number 1. So here investigator has to say that he has invented car with vinyl roof plus the roof of that car is a black. So he's writing down the different features into the different claim. In the third claim, he is also saying that the car of claim 2 further compromising a red guard attached to the said roof. So this is the additional feature, and claim 3 is dependent on claim number 2. Now here, if my claim number 2 is rejected, then automatically claim number 3 will also rejected. Right? Now if my claim number 1 get rejected, then automatically claim number 2 will also get rejected and claim number 3 will also get rejected. So here while writing down, I have to write down in a very specific way. It is always better that dependent claim should be less. It is always better. Then there is a format number 2, that preamble and transition phase, element 1, 2 and 3. So preamble means it identifies the category of invention, and transition phase should be consistent and compromising. Example, an apparatus. An apparatus is a preamble. It denotes me whether it is for product, process or method. And compromising, by writing the compromising, I am using transitional phase. So here apparatus compromising, plurality of printed pages, binding configured to hold printed pages together. And additional features, for the additional features I am using and cover attached to the binding. So here I invented one apparatus where number of printed pages are binding together, and there is a cover that attached to the binding. So this is the patent of a notebook or a book. Okay, so this is how I can draft a patent for the notebook. Now suppose that somebody has filed the patent on the textbook. let's say this is the very hypothetical example. Now he got the patent. He got the patent on this claim that he has created some apparatus which hold printed pages together, and there is a cover that is attached to the binding. Now suppose I am the competitor and I want to be there in the market and I want to produce the notebook, but this patent is restricting me to making this product. Now I had to be inventive. I had to invent such kind of notebook which is having more technical advantage than this notebook. So what I am doing, I am making a notebook such that its cover can be detached from the binding. So how I am writing the patent? I am using the same format, an apparatus compromising plurality of printed pages that holds branding together and cover attached to it, and there I am also adding one transitional phase characterized in that the cover is detachable from the binding. Now by doing this I am not violating this patent. This patent is related to the what? Notebook, where cover is not detachable. Now I invented something and I can easily detach the cover and replace it. So that is inventive steps, and I can write a patent and I can get the patent on this claim without violating the earlier patent. So this is the way to write a patent. Now many people think that writing the claim is just merely listing of the parts and cataloging the part. It is not the way. For example, apparatus holding atom compromising 4 legs, 16 screw and top. So we know that this is for the table, but let's assume that table was not invented. And if you read this claim, there was the 4 legs, 16 screw and top. Now there is not mention that how this is connected to the each other. So this claim is a very poorly written. I will not come to know that how this has been arranged. What is the sequence of manufacturing this? So this is the poorly written claim. Another example, that a game devising compromising handle, head portion and protrusion. So this is for the badminton racket. Now just hide the figure and just see the claim. Take a handle, head portion and protrusion. It is not mentioned that how this is connected to each other. What is the sequences of the connection? That is not mentioned. So this is the poorly written. How it should be written? It is written in this way. A game devices compromising the handle. So yes, handle is there. Head portion connected to the handle. So I had to connect the head portion to the handle, and a protrusion is being secured to the handle. So by reading the claim, I can imagine, okay, there is a head, it should be connected to the handle, and that handle is further secured to the protrusion. So this is the way the claim has to write. So there is no ambiguity, connection is all there, sequence is there. So this is the way you have to write down the claim. Now okay, I have idea, I have written down the idea, title is there, description is there, field of invention is there, background is there, summary is there, description with the figure is there, and I nicely drafted the claims. Now where to file this patent specification? So there are 4 offices in the India where you can file the patent application. So where it is located? So one office is located to the Delhi. So the people living in the northern state, they had to apply to the Delhi Patent Office. The people living in the west region of the India, they had to write the patent, they had to submit the patent application to the Mumbai office. Similarly, southern states has to apply for the Chennai, northeast states has to apply for the Kolkata. So there are three ways to file the patent application. The first way is by physically, you have to go physically to the patent office and you have to submit the hard copies. So that is the one way. Second way is hard copy can be submitted through the post to the patent office. And the third way is you can online file your patent application. So there is a website, online website available, ipindiaonline.gov.in. So there you have to log in, you have to register first, and you can submit online your patent application. Now we are moving to the second part, that how the patent application has to be filed. So there are various forms you have to fill up. Form number 1, form number 2, form number 3, form number 5 and form 26. So first I'll describe the simple flowchart. So first you have to file the patent application. After the application, after some period of time, the government will publish your patent application into the one journal online, and then you will come to know who has objected your patent. Many people will come and say that no, this invention is not novel, I am already using it, that is already in the public domain. There you will come to know that whether there you can decide whether you have to go for further steps or not. Now if you decide that yes, I can go for further proceeding, then you have to write request for the examination. Only after that government will consider your application. If you are unable to file request for examination, then government will consider that your application is abandoned. So government will not proceed further. So after filing the request for examination, government will examine. It examine novelty, it examine inventive steps, it examine the industrial applicability. If government is satisfied, then it will issue first examination is report. That report says that whether there is a novelty or not. Suppose if you wrote down 10 claims, and if controller thinks that out of the 10 only 5 are novel, then he'll write down in the first examination report that 5 claims are novel, remaining 5 claims are was already existed, and he also list down the references where that novelty is not there. Then you have to reply to the first examination report. Either you can accept that yes, 5 claims are novel and 5 claims are not novel. If you think that remaining 5 claims are novel and what are the paragraphs are there that are not violating novelty, then you have to reply accordingly. If government is satisfied, let's say out of the 5 claims, if only one claim is, at least one claim is also novel, then you can get a patent. So that is the simple flowcharts. So this is the examination report. First examination is report. So here in this example, the controller will note down his observation that which claim is lacking in the novelty, and also it will give the references of the which document he has referred and why he is claiming that these claims are not novel. So here if you see the serial number 1, he has taken the objections. So claims are lacking in the novelty and inventive steps in the view of cited document, and he is giving the references of another patents. That's why he is saying that your claims are not allowable. Patents cannot be granted on this claim. plus what is the rough work he has done on your application. Each and every details will be there. Even the rough noting will also be provided to you. So here you can see that in the claim number 1 ABCD is written that it is not clear or not clearly described the invention. So here you have to reply to his objection. Either you can amend your claim or either you can withdraw your claims. So what is the outcome of a first examination report? Here you can abandon the application by not replying anything, or if you think that your application is still novel, then you have to correct your claim if it is possible. So these are the different ways. So first way is patent of division. Suppose by mistakenly two features you combine together into the one claim, then you can ask that divide these claims. Then it can be called as a patent of divisions. So within a 12 month of the time from the date of issuing the first examination report, you have to meet the objections. If the objections are met, then grant of patent is provided by the controller within a period of 1 month. And within a 7 days, a certification will be issued. So I am moving the last part. How the process is taking place. Suppose if you decide to file a provisional application where your idea is not 100% foolproof, then you can file the provisional patent application. But within a 12 months, you have to file the complete specification. If you are unable to file the complete specification within a 12 months, then your application will be considered as the abandoned application. It will not proceed further. Now after the filing the complete specification, after 18 months, government will publish the patent in the public domain through their website. So now if you think that your publication has to be done faster, you don't want to wait for the 18 month, then you have to submit form number 9 and you have to request for the application. Then within a 1 month your application will be published. So it will be there for the 48 months. 48 months window will be provided. In the 48th month, you have to write the request for the examination, that you have to still proceed further for request for the examination purpose. Then you have to provide the request for examination by using form number 18. Then within a 6 month, controller will issue first examination report. If there is an objection, he'll write down the objections, and then you have to meet the objections within a 6 month. If you think that 6 month is not a limited period, then you can request for additional time and it can be extended by the further 3 months. So within that period, you have to reply to the first examination report. After replying the first examination report, it will also re-examine your amended document. Suppose if you withdraw few claims or if you modify the few claims, then it will again go for re-examination. And if it is required that hearing is necessary, then hearing will also take place. If you have made the objections, then patent will grant within a 6 months. If it is not, then your application is abandoned and will not get the patent. So this is the flow chart and the timeline of from filing of the patent to the granting of the patent. Now while filing the patent, which forms you have to file? So form number 1, In the form number 1, it is mentioned that you are willing to file an application for the patent. In form number 2, complete specification has to be submitted. It includes title, abstract, description and claims. In form number 3, it is mentioned that you have not filed this application outside of the India. In the form number 5, it is mentioned that you are the inventor of the patent. Now these are the 4 important forms that you have to file. Now suppose you don't know the filing procedure and you appointed some attorney, then form number 26 has to be there, which gives the authority to the agent that he is looking your application on behalf of you. So these are the forms that you have to submit. Form number 9 that I already explained, it is for early publication. Form number 18, it is published. It is for a request for examination. So this is all about the filing procedure. And these are the various fees that you have to pay for different applications. So there are 3 entities. One is a natural person. If there is a small company like SMEs, then fees is different. If the company is having bigger size, then fees are different. For natural person, filing the complete specification fees only 1600 rupees. But within the 1600 rupees, you can claim maximum 10 number of claims and complete specification should not be more than 30 pages. If claim is more than 10, then additional 10 claims you have to pay 320 rupees each. And if the sheets are more than 30, then for each additional sheets you have to pay 160 rupees each sheets. Then for request for examination, for individual person fees only 4000 rupees. After that there is no fees, FIR will be issued and then hearing is takes place if it is required and correspondence can be happen. After granting of the patent, you can enjoy the patent right for the limited period of time and that time limit is 20 years. After the granting of the patent, suppose if you want to enjoy the rights, then you have to pay fee 800 rupees. For further 5 years, you have to pay 2400 rupees. And again, to enjoy the royalty or enjoy the rights for 15 years, you have to pay 4800 rupees. And for further 16 to 20 years, you have to pay additional 8000 rupees. So you can enjoy the rights for the 20 years, but for that additional fees you have to pay. So this is all about the filing of patent applications and filing procedure, and these are the various forms that you have to file and these are the fees. So I hope I explained, I tried my best to describe how the patent application has to be filed and what are the different procedure and form that you have to submit it. If you have any query, then you can write down me on my email ID sagardhage85@gmail.com and you can contact me on my mobile number 7696740201. So time limit was for the 1 hour. So within 1 hour I tried to cover a lot of things. But still, if you have any doubts, you can always welcome to write on me. So that's the end of my presentation, and I would like to thanks organizer for giving me opportunity to present through your channel. So thank you and have a day. Goodbye.